Welcome back to the Warhammer Book Club. I'm Arbiter Ian.
I'm Mira Manga.
Yeah, hi. And we do this. We read, but in theory it's a book club, right? We read books and you can read the books and then we talk about the books, except it's all Warhammer books, which is brilliant. And, well, mostly it's brilliant. And we should also say before we start that we're professionals at this.
We're so good at this.
We've got a huge network of stuff now after years doing it. So you can find us on YouTube. You might be listening to this on as a podcast. Both me and Mira have YouTube channels. I talk about the lore. Mira interviews the authors of these books.
Yeah, and both Ian and I have Patreons.
We both have Patreons and merch.
And merch.
Yeah, I know. After millions of years of you telling me to.
I'm so happy because Ian's merch is like super fun and everyone needs to go and get one.
Yeah.
At least one item of merch from Ian's shop.
One thing. It's Christmas anyway, so you know.
Christmas.
Shouldn't say that because God knows when this is going to go out. But
Easter.
Yeah. I mean, it might be by this point. Anyway, there we are. We're professionals. This is a podcast and also a YouTube video, and we have merch and Patreons. They're all in the thing below. You can find them. Mira, what book are we reading today?
Today, Ian, we are reading Daemonbreaker.
Daemonbreaker. By Jude
Reid.
Yes. Which is,
incidentally, Victoria.
Yeah, it's just a recommendation, isn't it?
Yes. Victoria, who gave us Death World.
Victoria Haywood.
And loves birds. Very lovely lady. Advised us to read this book.
Yep.
And she mentioned to us that Jude had advised her on the gorier elements of her book.
Yes.
Because Jude is a surgeon.
Yes. So then she told Jude to get in touch when this came out.
Yep.
But when this came out was just before I was going away with real life work for a while. So we're a few months late now. We're not with Death World, we managed to get like our review in and our interview with Victoria like weeks after it came out.
Yeah.
This is maybe months after it came out. So we'll see. We're going to talk to Jude about this so we can ask her gruesome questions about illnesses and murder because apparently it's her speciality, but she did get in touch.
Yeah.
When this came out, we got sent it. We're just now very late at doing this because I then went away for work. But we've read it, and it's a full-on book. It is like there's sisters being angry and demons being braked.
You start reading it and your hair goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then the whole way through it's like, what's happening?
So, before we start, we are going to drink some tea while we do this.
Yeah.
I haven't told you what tea this is. Here's the teapot. Sorry to everyone listening as a podcast. We have got close mics on. You'll be able to experience the tea vicariously through the sounds of us drinking it. There we go, and the rattle of my teapot.
Ian has not told me the flavour of this tea, but I'm going to try and guess.
I only got it a few weeks ago.
A few weeks ago?
Yeah, and I got one of those fancy new kettles where you can boil teas to different temperatures.
Oh,
so,
that is the perfect tea temperature, Ian.
Yeah, well.
I'm drinking from my vegan unicorn cup, for anyone listening.
And I'm drinking from this spooky cup from Halloween.
Cheers. That's absolutely lovely, Ian.
Yeah, I know, right? Do you know what it is?
It's one of my favourites. It's a very smooth green tea. Is that green tea with jasmine or something?
It is, yeah. This is jasmine tea from Mrs. Toy in Bat Jat, Vietnam, and I got it from Postcard Teas, which is this beautiful little tea shop just off Oxford Street, near Bond Street. And it does these little tiny batch teas it finds from around the world in mostly East Asian ones. They're mostly green teas and red teas. And you buy little packs of them and they're very, very nice. And this is from Mrs. Toy in Bat Jat, Vietnam. And it is jasmine green. Very,
very delicious. I'll have to check that shop out. Yeah, we do love tea. People, please do send us tea.
I think that's the perfect tea to go with breaking demons. So,
would you like me to?
Actually, you know what? I think I should have chosen a different one for this. No. You know what? The next tea is a good pairing. Anyway,
tea pairings.
Before do action movie summary.
Okay.
Here we go.
In a world where you too can join a convent and spend all your time thinking about how awesome the Emperor is, you must at times go and fight terrible psychedelic warp monsters. I don't know if you can actually just pray and be happy. Probably have to fight all the time. A quest for a fabled relic that could turn the tide of the Imperium's fate takes rookie Gwyneth out of her comfort zone and into the abyss. An abyss that stares back with added rainbow vomit, warptastic horror, and rib cages. Join us on a coach trip through deception, depression, despair, and the death of sisters, but never the death of the sisterhood. Let's break some demons. That was Ian's line.
Yeah.
Join us as we read Daemonbreaker.
There we go. I like that in that you pointed out that the person we are following and joining is in fact Gwyneth, because this book sets up that a different character is the main character. And if that character is the main character, it's horrible. When you realise that she's not the main character of this book, joins the book about a fifth of the way in. Then it gets it becomes a much more interesting book.
It reminded me of a story we read about a black ship that went and found a warp ship full of like
goblins.
Not goblins,
No.
wrong genre. That found loads of people that had been affected by crazy psych stuff going on. And there was a bait and switch. Which sister is the one that the story's about?
Yeah.
But I really, I enjoyed all the sisters.
Well, Daemonbreaker. So we'll meet our characters in a second, but let's go through the plot. This goes. We open on Celestian Superior Aveline, who is apparently the main character of this book. She's on the front. There was a model released where she had a very impractical sword shaped like a fleur-de-lis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she's found in a hole on a planet called Horizon 8. A cardinal finds her.
The camera just goes down and she's like...
she's done a superhero landing in a crater. And the cardinal's like, Jesus Christ, she's alive. Or Jesus Emperor, she's alive.
Jesus Emperor.
And then we flash back to the start of the story, right? So it's got a pre-credit sequence, this book. Right, we jump back in time. Aveline, her main and only character trait is being very angry at everything. She's extremely angry all the time, is busy crushing a rebellion while getting some sort of predictions of the opening of the Great Rift. This is set just before the Great Rift eats Cadia and opens.
There were like tinglings of Cadia, and I knew what that was about.
She's got a little buddy, a novitiate, like that she's training up, who's rubbish. She's called Marguerite.
Marguerite.
Yeah, she hates Marguerite.
Maybe I met Marguerite and not Gwyneth in my intro.
Yeah. Marguerite, she hates Marguerite. Marguerite's a dick. And Aveline's like, you're useless. Go away. You suck. While she's busy caving in the heads of heretics.
Not only Astartes are horrible to their little helpers.
No, turns out they're really, really horrible. It's
too.
like, those like Hannah Waddingham in Game of Thrones level of angry nun.
Yeah.
It's like that, right? So she's ordered to go to this planet, Horizon 8, which is in the Cadian zone.
Is Horizon 8 a noted planet outside of this?
No, never heard it. Currently under attack by the 13th Black Crusade, and she's annoyed because what she wants to do is go and fight on Cadia. The whole rest of the convent are going to fight on Cadia. The Order are all fighting on Cadia, and she's like, "Oh, I've got to go to Horizon 8 and protect this like holy relic because we think there's a holy relic there.
Yeah,
there's a sorcerer."
I was going to ask you, like, it's very much like having a skirmish game set outside the Great War, and then also it really tricked me because I felt this book would tie in directly to but it stays kind of self-contained.
Yeah, it is kind of a self-contained story. It's not linked into all the other massive mega events. But this is just before the Great. Then they reckon something's happening. The 13th Crusades happened. There's some chaos people have gone to Horizon 8 because important and
This relic they're chasing. I had another question. Is that a relic that's ever been named before?
No, all this is nothing other than the Order. It's the Order of the Ebon Chalice or Argent Shroud, one of them.
Yeah.
That they're all part of, and that's a thing.
Yeah.
They wear white armor. But other than that, everything else I think is new. Yeah.
Good.
So she lands on the planet with her gang: Marguerite, the useless novice; Vasiliki, who is a Dominion superior, which is basically someone with cool guns.
Yeah. I'm getting it now. If you've got a better title, it means when you buy the model, it's got loads bigger.
You've got bigger hat on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Celise, who is a hospitaller, and Tegwin, who's the dialogus, who is like a preacher. And
you're familiar with all these. You're reading
those
a
are
book,
like
this is common to you.
Those are like jobs in the Sisters. You can buy models that do those things.
I love it. Okay, great.
A Celestian is like a veteran sister. She's like a high up.
So you'd be a Celestian.
I'd be a Celestian.
And I'd be a novice. You'd be
one of the shit novices. No, you might be. Maybe I'd be a dialogus because of all the book reading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dialogus Ian. I wish I'd spoken to you while reading this book because I read it the whole way through as Aveline because I've read.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if it's Aveline or Aveline, and neither of us listened to the audiobook.
Aveline sounds way more Warhammer than Aveline.
Aveline. Maybe she's Northern in the book.
Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? So she's like angry nun lady. All the other nuns aren't as angry.
Yeah.
She meets Zara. Now, Zara is someone Aveline hates.
Yes, and we saw that in the other short story. Because the sisters breed a lot of ambition, don't they?
Yeah.
And this one always got these best jobs. This one got to go.
Should say in the other story, I'm pretty sure it was Sisters of Silence, which is a different thing.
Okay, but
Sisters of
still
Silence are all the
sisterhood.
pariahs.
Yeah.
They're like psychic
blanks,
nuns. They're
yeah.
blanks in the heresy. This is Sisters of Battle, who are nuns,
But
super faithful nuns.
are they not connected?
No, nothing, completely different, separate things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting because I was thinking when are the blanks are going to come out?
No, there's no blanks.
They're
No.
just
They do they really hate psychers, but that's because they're all like gothic nuns and they think they're all witches.
But this is the problem. They were going through such a warpy thing.
Yeah.
They could have done with that.
Exactly, but yeah, so they're not Sisters of Silence, they're Sisters of Battle. They work
Okay.
for the church.
Okay.
They're the church's army. They do hate psychers. General rule, I think, in 40k is all girl armies hate psychers. Don't know why.
Do Sisters
Girls
of
hate wizards, apparently.
So Sisters of Battle do not like Sisters of Silence. They are
No,
like,
Sisters of Silence are pariahs, so they're okay. But I don't think I've ever seen any interaction between the two organisations.
come on,
One of the things
let's
is-
see some of that.
The Sisters of Silence are from the heresy, like the Emperor built them as like a
yeah.
heresy site, a defence against psychers. They sort of disappeared after the heresy, and thousands of years later, the Imperium got all religious, and the Sisters of Battle came, like thousands of years later. The Sisters of Battle were like formed as this religious nun organisation,
Oh, no.
and then only very recently have the Sisters of Silence popped up again.
Shit. Sorry to do a swear, but this is when you say you should have done 40k first. I'm like in a time warp. But I really
Yeah.
love hearing all this lore
Sisters
bit.
of Silence like come back.
Yeah. Oh, they've been, yeah.
Sorry, so yeah, these are Sisters of Battle,
Yeah.
which are space nuns.
Well, I'm glad that they are. I'm glad I know the difference because I was thinking they might be like different sectors that popped up. But one of the things I liked about the really angry nun is a really well-written angry woman is quite interesting. I quite like reading it because there are a lot of women that rage out there.
Yeah.
Let's recognise it.
And so we know she's angry because everyone else is fine.
Yeah.
No one else is that angry.
No.
So she meets Zara,
Yeah.
fucking angry about it.
Yeah. But Zara has, in her eyes, been more favoured,
Yeah.
has been given better positions,
Yeah.
has not kind of shamed herself. And
And she's nice.
yeah, well, compared to in the world of Warhammer 40k, she does appear really nice. But they all appear. It's incredibly militaristic. It's very, very troops. There's no Mournival hanging around having a nice chat and some beers and drinks. It's literally like it's almost like convent style.
Yeah, all duty all the time.
Prayers, vigils, fighting.
And that's it.
Bosh.
So yeah, she's annoyed. Apparently she trained with Zara, but then Zara left her
Yeah.
to go and work with the Canoness Talitha's retinue,
Yeah.
and she's really pissed off about it. Anyway, Canoness Talitha explains the mission, right? The Sacred Rose, their Sacred Rose, there we are, has been charged with the defence of Casa Heilig, a key strategic communications hub in the northern part of Cadia Secundus. The Iron Warriors, those thrice-damned traitors she spat on the sandstone at her feet, lay siege to the city. We are to establish a beachhead, reinforce the defenders, drive the enemy back into the warp from whence they came. But, unfortunately, Scathen the Summoner, a chaos wizard, has stolen some holy relics on Orison, so Aveline has to sort that out. So she's been put into a classic story, you're well, important and good, so you'd get to not be at the main fight and
Yeah.
lead the other fight. And she's annoyed about it.
I mean, it was a good way of illustrating how much the war means to the denizens of the universe because no one gives a crap really about anything but being in the war at the
Yeah.
front fighting for the emperor. That is your whole raison d'etre. What's a beachhead?
A beachhead, it's when you're doing a war and you're going to invade somewhere or something.
Yeah.
You've got to like make a little literal beachhead would be we're going to have to land in this country and we
Yeah.
need to make a position from which we can load more people in.
Yeah.
So we need to establish a beachhead, like a command post literally on the beach that is safe and
Yeah.
fortified, and then we can bring as many troops in as we want, but getting the beachhead is difficult.
Good knowledge. So they're sending this squad and she's absolutely fuming because she sees her friend Zara has been allowed to fight at the hand of a whole better battalion
Yeah.
and do all this.
But Zara's going to be sent with her. And then she's like, well, maybe she's being sent to watch me. And she's annoyed at everything. The novices, right. So Marguerite and a new novice she meets called Gwyneth.
Gwyneth's even littler than the shit novice.
Go and do some novice vigil. And the rule is they're not allowed to, if they want to be sisters, they're almost at being sisters. But if they want to be sisters, they're not allowed to break the vigil.
No.
At all for any reason. At exactly that moment, the chapel is attacked by a load of chaos bikers.
Which is mental.
yeah.
I'm so sorry, but
Chaos Marines on bikes come in,
This is the first time I've met Chaos Bikers.
Oh, really?
I think that must be so
Motorbikes
fun.
are a thing. Yeah.
So fun to paint.
Yeah, people fight on motorbikes in 40k. Yeah.
Absolutely
Yeah.
bonkers.
And so what happens, quite sensibly, Gwyneth's like, we're all going to die here, so I'm going to help fight.
Yes.
And she picks up a gun, she starts helping.
It was a trap.
It was because she then gets punished for it, because all the other novices kept the vigil as ordered, although they all died.
Yeah. Apparently she should have just stayed praying.
Yeah, and died, and that would have been more holy. Anyway, Gwyneth's assigned as a squire to Aveline, who's angry about it.
Yeah.
And also, in a separate scene, Hospitaller Celise discovers that Gwyneth has an illness that should mean she can't serve. Although I can't remember the details of if it's a real illness, but Jude, if we interview Jude, she can tell us if it's a real illness. Right. I can only assume the onset in it is recent, otherwise you would not have been permitted to train as a novice militant, she frowned. I take it Aveline doesn't know. Gwyneth struggled for words and settled for throwing herself entirely on Celise's mercy. On my birth world, it was known as Valdemar's affliction. It passes through families from parent to child. I cannot be cured. I only wish to take my vows while I can still serve. So she's got Valdemar's affliction.
It's setting up the tone quite early. I mean, it's in the film where, someone hugs their wife goodbye. You're like, okay, that's the one that's going to die. Yeah. In this, it's like, I'm already dying.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So after this attack, Gwyneth's now the novice. Zara's coming too. She says this heretic, all the other sisters bugger off. She says this heretic is following old pilgrim routes, and and the heretic has attacked 4 of the 6 shrines of Sister Nadezha, who's an ancient hero of their order.
Okay.
And he's trying to find the lost tomb of Sister Nazeda.
Yeah.
And their job is going to be to find the missing tomb first and then protect it.
Yeah, the implication I got was that in the tomb there's a weapon or tool that could sway
something.
It's like, it's a bigger thing as like, Horus's tragic blade or
Horus's
something.
MacGuffin.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the God Emperor's design, not one. Is the God Emperor's design not one of infinite mystery? The Sister Pronatus made the Aquila hey, no, of course, this makes no logical sense, but religion. It said that those of the faithful hearts may yet find Nazedha's tomb, but better it stayed hidden forever than fall into enemy hands.
Yes, destroy it rather than let the enemy get hold of it. A bit like the siege guns that are hidden on Caliban.
Diamats, the siege guns, got to destroy them in case, they'll just hand them to Perturab. Anyway, yeah. So this week's MacGuffin is a tomb. They all march out to take their place upon the route. They're going to the 5th shrine, which is an ossuary.
Which is where they keep dead bones.
And Aveline's complaining. She's like, this is a shit world. I want to be on Cadia, blah, blah, blah. And then they get to the ossuary, but it explodes.
Yes.
And then they're attacked by a load of chaos cultists, and we do some action.
Could I say at this point in time, there is no time where there is now not action.
Yeah, it's fair
until
point.
The end of the book.
Yeah, it's just a fight.
You're like,
and everyone going, "Oh, there was a fight that just happened," till the end.
You're at this level now. Yeah. We're just going up, hair raising.
So they fight the cultists. What
did you think of the motorbike fight? Did you like it?
I like the motorbike fight. You rarely see chaos bikers.
Yeah.
So I like that they're included. Yeah. That's an underused squad.
I loved
in
that
40K.
came in. Okay.
Right. So.
Ossuary's exploded.
They go and try and find this. If there's anyone still in the ossuary, is anyone in there? Gwyneth asked. Are we to rescue them? And then
we are not here to rescue.
The Sacrosanct Superior's voice was rich with contempt.
We are here to deliver the God Emperor's judgment.
Is that contempt?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
We are here to deliver the God Emperor's judgment. To make the relics. To make safe the relics that lie within, to bring death to the enemies of the faith. And if any luckless souls have been trapped inside, we will grant them the mercy of a swift deliverance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jeez. Wow, he's
horrible,
Howie.
horrible.
Horrible.
They fight past cultists, Chaos Marines, and a chained-up, shouty Hellbrute who likes yelling his name. But the last dying traitor is like, wahaha, well, the sorcerer's already at the final shrine. And this is a trap.
It's a trap.
Whoa.
There's lots of little deceitful bits in this book, switchies and
Yeah, and this basically leads to another argument where they're all like, what, we're going to walk into it? And Avaline's like, yeah, and he's the Emperor, kill them all. And everyone's like, but what? Celise is like, but you know this is a trap and loads of people are dead now.
Yeah.
Are you sure this is a good idea? And Aslan's just like, yes, we're going straight there as quick as possible so I can go to Cadia.
Do not let common sense get in the way
Yeah,
of piety.
yes, exactly. Blessed is the mind too small for doubt.
Exactly.
An open mind is like a fortress with its doors unlocked and its gate unguarded is a 40k there. Yeah.
This is why I love Ian and why everyone should subscribe to his lore channel. He just knows that stuff from his head.
Just in my head, that. What do you have to do? What can I see? We're reading that time. So I'm just reading a massive quote I put in, deciding if I need to read it out. No, I don't. They have a big argument. The Hospitaller Celise is like, is this a good idea?
Yeah.
And Avaline's like, screw you, we're doing it.
Yeah, but I like, you have pulled out a little bit that's quite interesting because the main one is like, we need to stay here and just run into this trap. And they're like, you lie to me if you wish, but your heart is basically in Cadia.
Yeah.
That's why you don't want to do this. You just want to be up in the big fight.
Yeah, and then Zara, which is surprising, backs Aveline.
Yes.
And Avaline's like, what? Okay then.
Yeah.
So they go to the next one, which is a mausoleum. And they find a magic sword in the mausoleum.
I was so excited. A magic sword.
Funny shaped magic sword.
Yeah.
But then the sorcerer and his chaos pals attack with some creepy magic vines.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, now I was like, we're in D&D country, my friends. We've got a magic sword. We've got the entangled.
The entangle spell.
Yeah. What's going to happen?
Well,
I just did not know because bikers, exploding ossuaries, shouty beasts. I mean, magic swords. It's all happening.
It's all happening. It doesn't stop happening.
This is very, very disparate. Lots of,
The sorcerer basically wants. He's like, muhaha! I've tricked you. Now you've got the magic sword, and you've opened the wards, and I can now figure out where the next place is because the sisters have opened the wards on this mausoleum. Wahahaha! And then there's a big fight, right?
Yeah.
And in this big fight, 30 sisters die. 100 more are wounded. They do extremely badly, but they have a big exorcist tank, which is a tank with a big pipe organ on the back that shoots missiles.
It's so cool.
And
I hope someone's done a diorama of some of these scenes.
So the exorcist tank scares off most of the chaoses, and it drives off the taters. But the sword, like, I got a bit confused here.
Okay.
The sword, like, goes evil.
I felt like, I didn't feel the sword went evil. I think the fact that they'd accessed it and opened it had opened the ward.
Oh,
So
yeah.
the wards had been protecting, or while it was in the case, and then something had happened, and then the sword started getting
Black and horrible.
Yeah. Because it was exposed, it was out to
Avaline's
say,
like, I've got the magic sword, great. It's the magic sword of sister whatever, but I hate it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she doesn't like anything.
Well, you can't when you're being angry all the time.
She's injured, but she's too much of a dick to do anything about it. My injuries are of no significance. Aveline wrenched her hand away from Zara's grip. And regardless, they're of no concern of Celestian Celises. 2 spots of colour appeared on Zara's cheeks. You are my commander. Your well-being is by definition my concern. Forgive me if your previous actions suggest otherwise, Zara. The last time I had need of you, you deserted me for the honour of a position in Talitha's retinue, Zara.
The hurt.
I know, they're
very
like...
human,
it's very like high school.
Yeah, I mean, this is I relate to being that girl.
My note under this just goes, she's such a dick.
She's been hurt, Ian. Hurt people.
So then
just from my head.
They're about to leave, and then Cadia dies.
So the context for Cadia dying is, as far as I understand, there's a horrible big warp rift. Cadia is the last planet in the way of the Eye of Terror.
Yeah.
And we're on this other planet.
You're
and
near
then
it.
we're getting the effects, we learn of it happening.
Yeah, and the rift spreads across the sky, and everything goes to shit.
Like,
And
when the rift happens, you don't want to be on any planet anywhere near it.
no, and you've just opened a warpy bullshit thing.
Yeah,
and did a
hello,
load of
we're
killing.
here.
And guess
Yeah.
what happens? A bloodthirster appears.
Tell me about bloodthirsters, Ian.
Well, bloodthirsters are very friendly and happy, as it sounds like from the name.
I don't think they get along with unicorns.
Bloodthirsters are the greater demons of Khorne.
Oh, we haven't done much corn, have
demon,
we?
Yeah. So, like, they're the biggest demon of Khorne, and they're very scary and powerful and angry all the time.
Is corn the blood torture one?
Yeah, he's the blood and skulls god. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, blood and skulls.
Yeah.
So a bloodthirster comes out, right? So then Aveline has an origin story flashback because she's like, oh God, it's all gone weird. We see her grandma giving her to the sisters who took her in.
Yeah.
The sisters were going through this area that had been chaosed and burning to death any
Everyone.
survivors for being too close to the taint. So the grandma's like, no, spare this small child. She can join your order. And the sisters are like, fine, we'll take pity on this kid. Thanks, grandma.
We
and
should-
then burn her to death.
Yeah. And that was what the little one witnessed. But that is so brutal. I mean, we talk about this all the time, but basically, if someone comes to your town and they're a bit warpy, the whole town has to go.
Get burnt, yeah.
And all the other children, I believe, would have gone as well.
Yeah.
But the sisters,
They took her in to become the angriest sister of battle ever.
yeah. And then you're wondering the whole way through the book, does the taint mean something? Is she going to turn? Like, yeah.
Black evil sword. Anyway, there's a demon fight then. The bloodthirster kills almost everybody, trashes all the tanks, and Aveline ends up bringing the entire sanctum down on herself to kill it, which doesn't work. The bloodthirster just smashes up all the rhinos and fucks off. And they have to dig Aveline out of the rubble again.
Yeah.
And she's a dick about it again. Everyone.
Who's your favourite character? Not Aveline. No.
Everyone in this novel is constantly having a crisis of faith the minute someone goes wrong. This time it's Hospitaller Celeste.
Yeah.
Gwyneth does it. And Gwyneth, who is the real hero,
Yeah.
who we're becoming more clear, Gwyneth's the real hero,
Yeah.
is the one who's like, just stop fucking around and help Aveline.
Do your
Stop having a
job.
crisis
Yeah,
of faith
yeah.
all the time. Meanwhile, Aveline is wallowing in self-pity, as
Yeah.
usual. Oh no, I killed everyone to kill this demon and it isn't even dead.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, I was really angry about that as well, that poor Aveline's having to sacrifice a lot. I was excited to see that the clerics in Warhammer are called Hospitallers.
Yeah.
Because
only in the sisters, yeah.
because the only other medics just come and pop your organs back out.
Yeah, nab your gene seeds.
Yeah, so it's quite nice to see some healing.
Some normal healing.
Yeah, it was
So
good.
D&D this actually, yeah.
I'm so happy for it.
Yeah, so everyone basically at this point everyone gets a moment of wallowing.
Yeah.
Right. And Tegwin's trying to be Vasiliki and the Dominions. There's only one surviving. There's basically like 5 of them left.
Yeah, now it becomes a little bit like a terror trail of survival because, as Ian said, everything's going completely wacky now.
Yeah, there's like not many of them at all. And then Zara is like, oh, it turns out I think you're brilliant, Aveline.
Yeah, Zara liked her all along.
Yeah.
And didn't understand why Aveline was so angry with her.
And she was also,
Because she didn't have a choice in going and leaving.
Well, she was also like, I think you're the better commander, so I'm
Yeah.
going to go and work for the Canoness and you should lead the squad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's a really... And I love this. Ian's put in there, I know you, Ava. I knew then and I know you still. The old diminutive... sorry, I'm blind and Ian's better at looking at things than me. The old diminutive cut Aveline like the edge of a blade. I should never have left all those years ago. Lyrian died for both of us, but only you were strong enough to bear the burden she left, to carry on for her sake, to give her sacrifice meaning with the greatness of your deeds. Her pale eyes closed. She would have been proud of you. For me, the only comfort is that she could not have been more ashamed of me than I was of myself. I thought you hated me, Aveline said quietly. I told you I was a coward. Zara turned her face away. It was easier to let you hate me than to dwell on what might have been.
Oh.
I just loved...
Doesn't stop Aveline being a dick.
I know, but let us have a moment. It was like such a nice realisation and... Yeah,
Like, she's a sister of battle and everyone else is a reasonable human being.
But it's nice. It's because you see these emotions, but you never get them really like played out. Or it's beautiful.
And you've got Aveline in there being Warhammer.
Yeah.
Whereas everyone else is like, oh, I'm actually having a bit of a crisis of faith because there was a giant demon that just killed everyone I know.
Yeah.
Or, oh, I've got an illness, but I'm going to fight through.
Yeah.
Or maybe we shouldn't do this stupid plan. Or, oh, actually, maybe I was just really worried about my own abilities. And Aveline's just like, no, you're all assholes.
No, but Aveline felt abandoned, didn't she?
That's not, I don't know if that's an excuse. Anyway, we can
Ian's
get
never
to
been abandoned.
Okay. Let's do the rest of the book. The plan is to go to the necropolis and use explosives to bring down the whole necropolis on the demon, because they've heard this is a big necropolis, which is the place to go.
It's like little bone dispensary, mausoleum. No, then this one.
Yeah. Ossuary, mausoleum, necropolis. That's how it goes. And Gwynette's a sister now. They promote her. She's a sister. Yeah.
Good job,
so they embark on this journey to go to the necropolis, and it's horrible.
This is the worst journey
They're attacked by
ever.
Chaos Furies. Another thing you don't see very often.
Are they
Jude
based-
digging out the rarest Chaos units here.
Are they based on like harpies?
Yeah, they're basically harpies.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they're like demon harpies.
Horrible creatures.
They're just like possessed Chaos Space Marines, screamers of Tzeentch, which are like flying shark things, and some like melted wall faces, like they're in Labyrinth.
Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
It was like fleshy melted things.
Yeah.
Things are made of
They're
flesh.
all trying to be tempted to like basically all four of the powers of chaos have a go at them while they're in the Necropa maze. Yeah.
It's like the Labyrinth without David Bowie and a lot of like disgusting,
Yeah.
horrible, gross stuff
it's
happening.
it's like chaos David Bowie. So they're going to blow up this mausoleum and bring it down on the demon. But when they find the mausoleum, it turns out it's like a step pyramid into the ground.
Yes.
It's like a step well.
It's a descending pyramid,
Yeah.
which I believe you can find in Trench Crusade if anyone's looking at that.
Right.
Yeah.
And at the bottom is a demon just going, "Whoa, I'm evil."
Yeah.
And that's what he's doing. So that won't work. So they start to spiral down the outlying chambers, and they have to fight 3 flesh hounds led by a flesh hound called Karnak, which is like a really old 40k big dog character.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in 20
chaos
years.
dog.
Yeah, he's like head flesh hound.
Wow.
It was a liberating, Aveline thought, this descent into hell. Freed of all thoughts of glory, personal or divine, she could focus on her goals, selling her life and strength by second to close the distance to the horror at the base of the pit. Each step she took, each blow she struck, brought the world more sharply into focus, fates and possibilities sloughing off like scalded skin as the ever-moving future turned to the merciless now. If we can withstand the charging bloodletters, if we can descend another level, if the hounds can be turned back, if we survive to reach it, if was becoming when.
I mean,
So yeah, they fight Karnak. They're saved by the ghost of Saint Arabella, who's like the patron saint of their order.
so cool.
And then at some point, Celise, they're all going to die, and they find this like stasis sarcophagus.
Yeah.
And Gwyneth Gwyneth gets in it. Celise puts Gwyneth in it, going like, right, we're all going to die. You can survive. We don't hear from her again though.
Well, do we? We'll have to ask Jude.
Yeah, we should actually. Yeah, good point. Saint Arabella inhabits Zara to banish Karnak, and then Zara gets et.
Yeah. I mean, the minute they start, let's be honest, the minute Cadia goes off, I was just like, this is just going to become...
Yeah.
It feels very much like, Dante, the Inferno going into hell, and the pyramid descends. That's very kind of like pagan and, hellish. And, I was just like... I was kind of reading it now, but being very angry that I had to read it and going through all those. You're just seeing them losing heart. And
and it's like I like the idea that the Chaos Rift opens and like models from 1997 come out that we haven't seen for 30 years.
I'm so excited too, because I love it when you can tell me about all the things. I love that Karnak was a thing.
Karnak was the
Did
thing.
you have a Karnak?
I didn't have a Karnak.
No.
Zara shook her head, a soft smile crossing her bloodstained lips. I do not fear my death. I was afraid that one day I would see you die, Aveline.
Oh, see?
The God Emperor has granted my prayer. Her hand squeezed Aveline's one final time, and the last of breath left her lungs. Who says there's no Warhammer romance imprint?
I know. Also, I made me cry because, they really, all it was this misunderstanding, and they can only be reunited in certain death.
So one of the interesting things, evil sword's now good again.
Yeah.
Because it's been sanctified in martyr's blood, so it's holy now.
Thank God.
Right?
Thank Emperor.
The Bloodthirster. Then we found that the Bloodthirster, in a massive raising of the stakes in the last few pages of this book, is opening the way to holy terror, a way that leads directly into the gates of the Imperial Palace.
Oh my God!
Which is like a thing.
Which should be called doing a Magnus.
When the Great Rift opens, there's like a big fight as demons of Khorne appear outside the Imperial Palace.
No.
Yeah, that's the thing.
So this is how they did it.
Well, I think because it gets stopped.
Okay.
So presumably not, because then Aveline fights the Bloodthirster. It picks her up. She bonks it with a flaming sword in between its eyes, and it's gone.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so we assume she killed it before it could go and join its mates attacking the Imperial Palace.
But this is so cool because it's basically aligning with that thing, that mythical thing that happened in the heresy.
And then way later, they find her like at the start. So that's the end.
Yeah.
Aveline's like in a bit of a weird dream state, covered in light in the Emperor's grace, bonking this Bloodthirster with a weird shaped sword.
Yeah.
And then she pops back up in a hole at the end, which maybe is that underground pyramid thing. Your legend will echo through time, and your name, Venosa, who is the cleric, met the sacrosanct's inflicting gaze and forced herself to hold it. God Emperor, she thought, may this woman be the blessing we so desperately need. Your name shall be Warhammer 40,000. Your name shall be Daemonbreaker.
Daemonbreaker.
She's Daemonbreaker. She's the breaker of demons, the Daemonbreaker, because she broke the demon.
Crikey blimey. It's quite good to talk about it with you because
it was full on, this book.
if I'd known all the little references throughout, I would have enjoyed it way more thoroughly
Yeah.
because I love it when they have callbacks.
Yeah. It's it was full on. I think it gets much better once you realise. Like at the start, you're like, Jesus Christ, this person is horrible.
Yeah.
Can I really read about this person? And then when you realise everyone else is actually the character, she's like the Warhammer happening in the middle, and all the other people are like sympathetic characters, and you're like, oh, it's kind of Gwynette's story, really? Like Aveline's in it.
Yeah.
For most of it and the start of the end. But actually the person who has development is Gwynette. And a lot of the other sisters are much more sympathetic characters. And you're like, yeah, so there was a bit at the start where I was like, wow, is she really going to be like this the whole book?
Well,
and then you get a bit of that. It gets a bit leavened by everyone else being vastly more reasonable.
I think a lot of my intrigue was like, why is she angry? Like, what's going to happen? What's the shakedown? And then we got the flashbacks and the relationship. So I understood it. At least she wasn't just being angry for the sake of, we needed an angry one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. She's not just the angry. It's interesting that, the person in the group who would be the angry one is the main character.
Yeah. But, I mean, we've got to read books about bloody Angron. I mean,
he's
he doesn't
he's
calm
not
down
as
there.
angry as Aveline.
Shut up.
He's not. He's not.
We'll say that to
Aveline's
Jude.
more pissed off than Angron. Yeah.
So people keep telling me...
Sisters of Battle.
Everyone, because of the hair maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. You've got all Sisters of Battle today.
Everyone tells me that I should get into Sisters of Battle. And I get it. They're like, oh, you're a girl. They're girls.
Yeah.
You'll like them. And to be honest, they're a bit fighty for me. I'm not scared of them.
Arseholes.
This troop just seems so regimented. It's like I've never come across... You know when you have like war bands and they're all like very pious individuals.
Yeah.
This is that. This is the very extreme emperor. You know, we live and die by it. We have all our prayers. Like there was just no space for anything personal outside of that kind of fierce religious.
Yeah. And it's fine. But it's the theme at the end. But it's interesting. It's interesting right. So it's a book about a religious order.
Yeah.
And it's interesting reading into that how they actually act.
Yeah, because mercy is killing everyone, not saving people.
Exactly.
Mercy is allowing everyone to not fail their test. They have to just stay and be killed.
Yeah.
And that's what the emperor would want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not what my emperor would want.
Well, yeah, it's like you've got this... Gwynette's like almost the only adult in the room talking sense. Everyone else is a damaged arsehole using their religion to justify whatever the hell brutal thing they want to do to all the time, right?
Yeah.
Like that's constantly, they're like, yeah, well, I don't feel like saving these people and I want to go to Cadia, so that must be what the God Emperor wants. Kill them. And yet, like, it's like, there's loads of points in this where, like, Aveline basically is using religion to justify the fact that she wants to go to Cadia. And also, like, the minute anything happens, stuff. Obviously, these are big horrific things, but in 40k, they're not the biggest horrific things. But the minute anything happens, half of them lose their faith instantly. Like, there's loads of points to this where like they don't win in the first fight in the ossuary, and then sisters are like, "But does the God Emperor even want us to be here? Are we really actually blessed? My faith's completely shattered by us not instantly winning."
Yeah.
Does the God Emperor not love me anymore?
But that kind of tracks, because if you are basically schooled in this way, where the God Emperor is all powerful, you're on a religious mission, you know, he is all powerful, all things, and then you're like, flipping heck, look at these bikers nearly took my head off. And what's that beast? Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a giant demon.
And now the walls are melting, and like I'm walking through a rib cage. I'd have given up. You know, before we got to the ossuary.
They're all trained for this. Their entire lives are meant to be fighting this. And then they've been told their whole lives that the God Emperor will absolutely see victory. So then the minute victory doesn't immediately happen, half of them just collapse into anxiety.
I would collapse.
Because they're like, but the Emperor said we'd win.
Yeah.
And it's like, so in some ways you're like, is this, I don't know if that's like an intentional, like, look, this is what actually being in this sort of religious order would be like. Like, it's all fine as long as it's going well, or it's all fine as long as you are completely, you're Aveline, right? You're everything is to serve you. I want to do this, therefore that's the God Emperor's wishes, therefore everything that stops me is wrong.
I mean, that's what bloody Lorgar and all that lot do. So everyone just says what no, it means this, and we've got to go and kill this lot. No, you've got to kill that lot.
And the only person who gets through all this with her faith, like, and never having a crisis of faith, is Aveline, who's the one who's like, I've decided I'm doing that, so therefore that's what the Emperor wants, screw everything else.
I mean, she's tough as nails. I mean, going down into that descent into the, the Dark Pyramid, what the heck?
Right, so look, I've not got any questions for this because I think not a lot of people have read it yet. Yeah. So there might be more questions later, but at this point, I haven't got anyone ask us any questions on it. However, I do have a bastard scale.
Yeah.
As you can see, I've written a list of names on the bastard scale.
Ian has written Aveline.
I don't think there's any more bastards in this novel.
Do you not? What about the bloody blood beast?
Demon's going to do what demon's going to do. Demon's going to demon.
The shouty harpy one.
Oh, he's in the shouty dreadnought was a bit annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, he just likes yelling his name.
The shouty dreadnought. That's not annoying. That's not the bastard. The ones who were like
the harpy, the furies.
The furies.
Demon's going to demon.
I don't like it. For Ian, how much are you going to give Aveline on the bastard scale?
All of them.
All of them.
I don't vote. You're the one who gives the bastard ratings.
I know, but I want to take
my strong recommendation is that Aveline gets all of them.
All of the bastard ratings.
Yeah.
Aveline is not a bigger bastard than Erebus. No, Ian. Ian, have some of your tea.
I think Erebus.
Calm down.
I think Erebus is more fun to be around.
Oh God, it's a slippery slope here. I think
that's very good parallel to what. There's an argument that in Warhammer a lot of people turn to the dark worship of chaos because it's just too horrible to be in the Imperium with its usual bullshit.
No, well,
you're
listen,
like, I would go for a beer with Erebus rather than hang out with Aveline.
Listen, Aveline spent her whole life being told what to do. She thinks she's not good enough. Her best friend that she also loves leaves her. And then she gets in trouble all the time. I'm going to give her a 20. Ian, no, can't. This is going to really. The people that keep the numbers of this are going to completely spike it. I think I would give her like a 7. I wouldn't even give her a 7. I'm only feeling the peer pressure.
Okay, right, fine. You're going to give her 7. I would go for 70, but fine.
Oh gosh. Well, after we've done our interview with Jude, we'll do a final.
Yeah, we'll just give her. Well, what we should do is ask Jude where she thinks she should be on the bastard scale.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That could be a good question.
And can we throw the horrible furies on there and the beast?
Where should they be?
Well, like you said, demons are going to demon.
Demons are gonna
I don't
demon.
want to come across them in an alley, so I'm going to give them a 3.
Okay.
Because demons are going to demon. It's in their nature.
Right.
And then the horrible blood beast, probably
the bloodthirster.
Bloodthirster.
Yeah.
Sorry, went D&D. The bloodthirst, I would give probably a 9 out of 10.
A 9 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's me buzzing.
Okay.
Okay. 9 out of 10. The bloodthirster, I don't think does as many bastardy things in this book as Aveline.
Okay, the bloodthirster.
But it's okay. You can have that. We can assume he would like to do more bastardy things.
And also this whole book, the tone of it, like seeing how dark and debauched and disgusting the warp can get. Really, really good example. Reminded me of like I think must have been one of the Xenos, the Eisenhorn trilogy. I've seen that much horrible warpiness, but and I'm not really a noob, but it was like a freaking intense, awesome psychedelic, completely just the journey that you could not imagine of weeping walls and horrible, terrible things happening. If you're into that psychedelic warp stuff, this is the book for you.
Also, I quite enjoyed that look at like we got this look, and I think this is always a problem with Sisters of Battle books. We've got this order that are permanently super mega faithful, which is like a really contentious thing in 40k as to what that actually does or means. And this book does not go, yeah, they're all holy shining crusaders. It's like, is this good? Is this a good idea?
Yeah.
Is the general tone of the book, which I quite like.
There's loads of questioning in this book, and like, you know, you get to kind of explore with them, what does our religion mean? And outside of that, you get to explore feelings and, you know, see how the tiers interact with each other. And yeah, I like that. I like the nuance of that rather than just, I'm stompy, I'm angry, you know, I wear this gun, you know. So yeah. Good.
Well, there we are. That's Demons Broken.
Do you have any other recommendations for any other Sisters of Battle books?
Not really. I need to catch up on some of the more recent ones. There are some more we could read through. Again, a bit like Commissar Kane, I kind of avoid the Sisters of Battle ones because they're not very fun characters. You know, it's hard. I think it's hard to make Sisters of Battle sympathetically enjoyable because they're all hardline nuns. Yeah. Right. Which is like.
They need a kind of Kane, like a bit of a dodgy sister who's selling,
or like
relics out of
a novice who's like, oh, I'm just sneaking my way in. Yeah. I think that's what made it. But anyway, there we go. So that's Daemonbreaker by Jude Reid. I get the impression there's meant to be another one of these. Like at the end, it's like you are truly the real Daemonbreaker, and something's happened to Gwyneth never gets out the stasis tomb. So what's going to happen to her?
One's in the stasis tomb. The one who's tainted and had the sword that was black and then good has been left alive. So
who knows? Who knows? Well, there we go. Well, thank you for watching / listening. We will return soon with other books, probably books set in the Horus Heresy that are also about religion a bit.
First Heretic we've got lined up.
Prospero Burns, we're going to do that. Woohoo! But otherwise, if you'd like to see more of the things we do, then you can find our stuff in the thing below. See ya.
Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye. And if you'd like to show your allegiance, you can check out the merch store. And of course, if you'd like to support the channel in other ways, there's links to that below, as well as links to the YouTube membership scheme and the Patreon. On both of those, you can get early access videos and a load of other perks too. See ya.